Hello everyone, Quentin here, and today we're gonna learn how to make a coronavirus stamp face. So let's start with a geometry and dive right in it. So, what do I need to make a coronavirus stamp? Well, I'll probably need a coronavirus. And for that it's gonna be, well, it's a sphere basically, and the sphere, it's gonna be polygon mesh, and I'm gonna go like a frequency of 20, and that's a little bit high, a frequency of 10, and I'm gonna put on it the crowns, the proteins that spikes up, and that's why it's called the coronavirus. And to do this, I'm gonna first add normals to my point, so that once I scatter points on my sphere, not that much, let's go for 40, those points will inherit the normals of the sphere. Now that I have those points, I'm gonna be able to copy a line on it. This line is gonna go in the z-axis, and I'm gonna drop a copy to point node and wire it. I now have lines going all around my sphere that I can visualize by dropping down a merge afterwards. And I'm gonna double the size of my sphere. Okay, that's the base of my coronavirus. Now I'd like to refine this look by giving a width to the line and shaping it into the corona protein profile. So to do this, I'm gonna drop a resample after my line, and I'm gonna check export a curve view attribute. This is gonna help me shape my line. I'm gonna then drop after this a point wrangle. Yep, that I'm gonna call line shape. And I'm gonna use one of my presets here, P-scale curve view, which we're gonna go through together. So basically I state that a float attribute named P-scale is gonna be equal to a ramp named P-scale that I'm gonna refit between a channel min and a channel max. So right now I have a P-scale going from 0 to 1, 0 at 0, and 1 at 1. To visualize this, I'm gonna drop after my copy to point a polywire, and in the wire radius I'm gonna tell it to use the @pscale attribute. And I can see that a 1 is way too big and that my line, my polywire needs more division, so I'm gonna go for 12 division each. And let's go back into the line shape and start working on this profile. I like to use B-spline for a more natural look, and it's gonna go maximum to 1.2, I'll say, and minimum 0.05. Yeah, that's good. Let's start with the base. So the base is gonna be a bit wider, so I'm getting thinner. plug this up to the very tip, and then here it's gonna flare, and then it's gonna smooth back down. Yep, something like this. I can see that I need a few more points on my line to get a nicer shape. That's good enough. Let's increase the max to get some nicer, wider crown. And that's good. And now I'd like to add some variation in their size. And to do this, I can drop an attribute randomize after my scatter, and it's not gonna be color, it's gonna be just a one-dimension attribute, and it's gonna be our p-scale once again. Once I do this, I can see that I indeed have different p-scale for each point, but I'm losing what I've done in my line shape. So to resolve this, I'm just gonna go to the copy to point and uncheck copy point attributes. All right. Let's go back to my attribute randomize, and I don't want such small proteins, so I'm gonna say the minimum value is gonna be like 0.5. Just want something a little bit subtle. Great. What else could I add? I could put so that's gonna be rand p-scale. I'm gonna randomize. Nah, that's good enough. Know that what I want to do is change a little bit the shape of the sphere, and to do that I'm gonna use a mountain node that I'm gonna put right after my sphere. It's a bit too rough. Let's bring the roughness down. The element size is gonna go up. Yes, that's good. And I'm gonna add $f in the time, so if I want to see different shape, I can simply move along the timeline. Let's also do this in our scatter node. Let's change the global seed for $f. And while we add it, we can also do it in the rand p-scale by adding the frame number to this already present value. So now from one frame to another I get a few different shape. That's how you modelize a pretty simple coronavirus. Alright, so we have our 3D virus and we have a bunch of different ones to choose from. Now we want to flatten it so we can get its silhouette. Let's drop a transform node and drop its scale in the y direction to 0. It's flattened, but it's unusable as it is because we still have all those useless faces. So let's clean it out. To do this, I'm gonna drop first a normal node and add normal to my point. And what I want to do is, well, get rid of all the faces that are not facing up, and then extrude it so I can get some model out of it. To do this, I'm gonna use a pointer angle. And I'm gonna use a dot product to get rid of the face going down. So for dot product, I'm gonna need two vector. Let's have the first one called up, and it's going to be in the y direction. The second vector is going to be my normal, so it's going to be equal to n, vector vector. Now let's add a float called dot product, and it's going to be equal to the dot product of up and n. And finally, we're going to use an if loop. If our dot product is inferior or equal to a channel float named threshold, then do the thing, and the thing is remove point, which geometry is the first input and which point, the point with the number. Let's press on the plus, and we have gotten rid of all the faces facing down. I'm gonna lower my threshold a bit more to -0.5, still good. And now that I've done this, I'm gonna use drop down a poly extrude node up, and I'm gonna transform it with the transform space set to global, and it's gonna be in the y direction. Bloop. Let's output a back, and it almost looks like we have a clean geometry, but still there is some artifact left. If we drop a clip node, we can see it inside, and that's no good. So to clean it once again, I'm gonna use a VDB convert. Let's get its volume. Sorry, I'm gonna use a VDB from polygon. Put it before my convert. Let's highlight it. Drop down the voxel size to something pretty small. Yeah, that's good. And convert VDB to polygons. Let's increase the adaptivity. And if I check this with my clip, I can see that now I have a volume that's clean inside, but it's still not the outline I was looking for. So to get this outline, first I'm gonna move my silhouette down a bit, and what I want is to get a plane. I'm going to use the bound node, and it's going to be a rectangle. Let's add some padding and look at it. So it's giving me a box, a rectangle around my volume. And now what I'm gonna do is drop a boolean intersect. It's gonna be between a surface and a solid. And I have now my coronavirus profile. With a pretty clean mesh. Yep. Alright, now let's get printing. Okay, back from the printer. And here are my 3 first prototype. We got a big one, medium, and tiny wheezy. And I've tried them already. Here's the result. It's pretty cool. Obviously, I have some trouble with the big one to have them make contact everywhere. But hey, it's kind of nice. Give a bit more texture. The small one are, well, pretty small. They almost look like ink drop. Well, they're basically ink drop with a few extra steps. But anyway, that's pretty nice. So that's all. That's really cool for a first version. But I'd like to go back to the soft and see if I can actually add some more details to the center so that I don't just get big blobs. Let's get back to Houdini. And we're back in Houdini. So that's where we left off. We have a clean mesh. That could use a resample. Let me drop this after the boolean and select subdivision curve and set it to 0.005. So we had our silhouette of the virus, but now what I'd like to do is so the stamp wasn't really doing great on such wide flat surface, so what I'd like to do is to well, remove the center. So I just have a thick line showing the envelope of the virus with the external proteins on the side, and then I'd like to have a few protein showing up in this now void space in the middle. So how am I gonna do that? Well, first I'm gonna check what I did last time, where I was. So that was my virus. I'd like to add a null here to get just my proteins out. Proteins, and let me hold Alt and duplicate this node, and here this is gonna be out envelope. On one side we only have the proteins, and on the other we only have the envelope. And I'd like to have this envelope down there, but I don't like to have a really long cable going on. So I'm gonna use an object merge you can use within the same geometry. Let me grab my null and just put it in the object one. Get envelope. And now I have here just the envelope, same result as there without the big cable. So how can I remove the center of my virus? Well, with the envelope it should be pretty straightforward. I'm just going to drop a boolean and select surface on one, solid on the other, and the operation is going to be a subtract. Then after my envelope I'm going to want to shrink it a little bit, so we have a little bit of margin. Let's drop a pick node and set it to minus 0.08, for example, 0.1. Let's start with this and connect it to our boolean. And there we go. Maybe I can put the resample node afterwards. So it's two are made. No, it's making some weird stuff. Let's leave the resample here. So now I don't have the center of my virus, but it's not exactly the same silhouette, is it? I mean, it's good, but I'd like to have a little bit more control on this line. So what I'm gonna do, I'm also gonna flatten the envelope without the proteins, and the flatten action was basically all of those nodes. So let me put them into a little box. Let's color it out, and I'm gonna call this flatten. I'm gonna copy all those nodes without click. Boom. And this time I'm not gonna do it on all my geometry, it's gonna be just on the envelope. Let's check the result. Nice flat shape. And here we have our virus with the protein. So let's shrink this down by using it's a 2D expand, poly expand 2D, and it brings out another line and an inner line. I'm just gonna keep the inside one, and let me just put the sample afterwards. That's maybe a lot of points for what we're doing. Let's bring it up a little bit. Yeah, good enough. And this is gonna be extruded to get a volume, but first let me drop a transform. It's gonna transform down like -1. Let me copy this parameter, and with a poly extrude afterwards I can extrude it in the Y direction by the negative value of this channel. So now I should have, let's see, a volume that's as big as what we translated it down, but we need not as big as, but twice as big. Up, and now I have a volume cutting my silhouette. Let's remove that with a Boolean subtract. It's gonna be between a surface and a solid. And now I have my silhouette of a virus. Great. Third thing we want to do, I'd like to get the proteins alone. So let's get them. There they are. And if I check from the top, well, let's see from the side, what can I do? Well, I could directly get rid of all the ones that are under in the Y direction, because not gonna need that. How can I, if I'm using a clip directly, it's gonna, yeah, start to remove them, but it's gonna remove it primitive by primitive, point by point. It's not going to remove the full protein at once. So to do this, I'm going to drop an assemble node before my clip. and I'm gonna ask for pack geometry. With a pack geometry, now each protein is represented by just one point, and if we clip this point, then we clip the whole protein and we get rid of it. Yes, so that's good. Half of the problem solved. Now let's check from the top view. So I have those proteins, but I'd like to have just a few in the center, and I don't want any intersecting with my geometry inside. So how can I do this? Well, I could use the same technique we did in our assemble to get rid of the faces facing down. What I could do is, let's get the envelope. I could get this envelope normals, transfer it to each packed primitive, and then check this and this normal, and if this normal is under my threshold, then I just get rid of the point and thus getting rid of the whole geometry at once. So I'm gonna transfer my attribute first, because right now if I check my point, all I have is the name of the piece and its position. And it's gonna be from, well, looks like I'm getting it directly without doing anything, but let's do it properly. So it's gonna be from point to point, it's gonna be only on the point, and I'm only interested in n, and the condition is gonna be within, let's go, within a value of 0.1, something like this. That's too small, and that looks good. 0.8. Now each point has a vector pointing outwards, and let's get all up. Let's get up. I'm gonna copy my attribute triangle with my dot product, put it after that, and if I get my threshold higher, I should start to get rid of the one on the side. Let's see from the top. That works. And now I'm only keeping the ones that are just on the top and not intersecting with the side. Let's try to lower this a bit. Yeah, that's good enough. We get a few getting on top of each other, but if we maybe raise that up a little bit. Yeah, we can get rid of it. Okay, good. Let's get those flattened as well. So I'm gonna get all those nodes, copy it once more, and this time I'm gonna get a boolean, but it's not gonna be a subtraction or intersection, it's gonna be a union between a surface and a surface. And I've forgotten something. Let's check the result of my boolean. Well, looks like something's not working. So let's see. We're transforming it, and we give it normals. We make the dot product. We extrude it. It might be this. This poly extrude doesn't seem to do anything with this geometry. Let me try something. I've seen that my proteins are way too high res than and that might cause problems. So let's simplify the geometry. Just gonna put a remesh here. Wait. Let's get the dot product back into its box and put the remesh just before. Let's remesh it to 0.1. And now the poly extrude seems to be working, kind of. Let's see, maybe even lower. 0.2. That's going to be really low. Let's see what's happening. So I have my dot product before my transform. Let me shake it loose. Come on, put it back. Wait, why do I have two dot product? Let's get rid of one. Now we have it flat, that's nice. 0.8 was the value, I think. Wait, no. I wanted to keep it as it was, minus 0.6. Up. We extrude it. Bond it, cut it. And oh yeah, no, I see, I'm sorry. What I didn't do was I needed this dot product here before my remesh, and this one was here to get rid of those. And then what I needed to do was unpack my geometry before remeshing it and doing the whole flatten thing. And now I'm just gonna copy also those nodes after. Let me do it again. So I have a flat face. I'm gonna transform it down. -1. Extrude it up. Two. And see the results. I don't even need to do this. You can just keep it as it is. That's good enough. Let's see the points. Could maybe use a remesh here. Oh, you know what? That's good enough. Let me put this null at the bottom, and I'm gonna check. Let's find a frame I like. Yeah, this one. I'm gonna check if it's working well in my stamp. Let's give it some time. Yeah, that seems to be the trick. Okay, I'm gonna go print this and I'll show you the result. Okay, those were the old. Here are the new. I've tried them quickly on some paper. pretty happy with the result. I think I'm gonna directly stamp it on some fabric. So that's regular mask. Each of my stamp have this 3-log locking system on the back. This way it takes less space because it's building up quite fast. I'm gonna put some ink on this piece of felt, and I'm also using some felt behind my fabric so that I get a little bit of spring, a little bit of softness, because I'm using PLA here, and well, PLA is not the most bendable material. Okay, let's put some ink on it, dab it. Okay. Cool. Let's use the other one. That's cool. It's exactly what I wanted. Let's put some now towards the nose part. It's there. A few here. And no. There you have it. That's a certain style. Alright, bye bye everyone.